So top of it, top of it, top of it. It's your boy Coach One Stack. And I got some breaking news for you guys here, man. Nolan Wells' body did not appear to be bloated from drowning, and his rescuer spilled the tea. Now, as you guys already know, Nolan Wells' body was found on the shore. And if you have never seen a deceased body before, hey man, you go through rigor mortis after a couple hours and your body starts to bloat anyway due to conditions, especially when it's being hot. But we got a rescuer here, which you're gonna see in this video. You're gonna see in this video that you have a rescuer that said that Nolan Wells' body did not appear to be bloated, which is definitely consistent with being with somebody drowning and a body washing up, guys. I'm thinking conspiracy here, guys. If you think this is a conspiracy on this Nolan Wells case, put conspiracy in the comments because this has to stop, because this is coming all up from the judge all the way there. Because you know what? I seem to think that Nolan Wells, whatever was done to him was done at a whole nother location, the judge's house, in particular, the judge's house involved in this case. And he expired there and they moved his body to that beach and that water. You understand what I'm saying? And on another note, they still have not released any autopsy. But see, this where Benjamin Crump is slow, y'all. What Benjamin Crump should have done was let Mississippi do their autopsy and come out with their results, because they didn't have to bury Nolan yesterday. Now, once they got the results, then they could have went got their own autopsy, and now Mississippi would have been stuck with a story. But now that Mississippi haven't released their autopsy results, why is that? Because it's a bunch of foul play going on, man. But we're gonna get into this video. Let's
Love Fight Plus News. I'm John Abba.
Normally, when a body's been floating, you'll see some bloating. I'm trying to think of the most respectful way to say it. The body did not seem at that height to be disproportionate to the way it should look.
Continuing our coverage on the case of Nolan Wells. On Monday, Wells's family, friends, and supporters would send off the 18-year-old who has taken over headlines after he'd reportedly go missing on July 4th during a trip with friends to a Mississippi island. Now, after a 2-day search, Wells's body would be mysteriously found washed ashore in the same location. To note, one of the biggest conversations that need to be answered for many have been, what are his autopsy results and how was the condition of his body? For those who watch Wells's service, they would notice that the family decided to not go with an open casket, drawing in more speculation if the condition of his body showed any signs of foul play.
Now they decided not to go with an open casket. That could be for several reasons. Nolan Wells was a light-skinned guy. And you guys know when you pass away, and Caucasians, don't be offended by this. They normally bury Caucasian people within a couple of days because people start to change colors. And in Nolan Wells' case, there's no telling, from his body sitting out there, the condition it was in, and he may have looked a lot darker than he was. So that might not even be the reason why they had a closed casket. But you guys put in the comments of why you think he had a closed casket, because the fact that they have not released this autopsy report, hey man, it is screaming, man, conspiracy through the roof. Small time judge, small time police department, where the judge controls it. Everything in this small town, the judge is on top. And who wants to go against the judge, y'all? And after all, they all did lawyer up. And if you don't need no lawyer if you ain't had nothing to do with it.
Now, while many would view his service from across the nation, Wells's rescue and ultimately body's condition would continue to be a conversation by one of the last people to see his body. During a new interview with TMZ, Cajun Navy's Brian Trasher would go on to stun viewers when he would share what he saw when Nolan was finally found. According to Trasher, who has been a part of the Cajun Navy for nearly 10 years, way up from his vantage point, Wells's body did not appear to be bloated like most drowning victims he's used to seeing.
We were coming back up north towards the northwest tip of Horn Island when we noticed there were boats in the center of the island where there's a lagoon tip. And then when we got closer, we noticed there were 2 boats already parked in tandem on the beach. That was strange. It was a Monday morning. It was obvious they weren't fishing. So we descended and to about maybe 450 feet, 500 feet. And we could tell it was law enforcement boats, law enforcement personnel. And then I noticed that there was what appeared to be a body right at the shoreline. laying face down. The one thing I'll say about the condition of the body, and again, I want to stress very, as much as I can, that I'm at 400, 450 feet in the air. But normally when a body's been floating, you'll see some bloating and whatnot. He wasn't in the water that long. The water temperature was high. He has a low body mass index. Normally we'll look for a body to pop up on about day 4, but we knew it was possible he could pop up as soon as day 2. And this was day 2. I'm trying to think of the most respectful way to say it. The body did not seem at that height to be disproportionate to the way it should look. Now, I could not get a good look at his face. So I was really looking at, his back of his legs, back of his arms. And so that was my vantage point. And I just want to stress to everybody that that's not an ideal vantage point. And plus I'm flying at like 90 knots. So, I'm going pretty fast.
Now, as mentioned by Trasher, a drowning victim typically begins bloating after some time in the water, caused by bacteria inside the body producing gases. It is from the buildup of gases that causes the torso and other tissues to swell that often lead the body to rise to the surface. Now, here's where it gets interesting. According to research, bloating typically begins in warm water, 25 degrees Celsius or higher, around day 2 or day 3, and usually takes longer in cold water. Now, Wells's body was found on day 2 since he went missing, so that timeline aligns. But again, according to Trasher's vantage point, the condition of his body did not align with what many may have expected, because upon research and looking up the water temperature on Horn Island that day Nolan went missing, as well as July 5th and 6th, the water was considered warm to hot.
So what they're saying for those of you guys not really catching it, that the water was not even at a temperature where it would cause bloating if the late Nolan Wells had drowned. You understand what I'm saying? So he's basically saying that he does not believe that Nolan Wells drowned due to the condition that the body was in that he saw when he was flying over. So now here's the thing. They was only able to see his backside. So what we need, guys, is we actually need somebody who was on the ground, who actually saw his body up close and personal to tell us, because that's going to let you know if he had any bruises and all that stuff. But I'm going to tell you, man, with Benjamin Crump, I really don't agree with him. I don't think he's the smartest attorney in the world. I think a lot of this stuff is publicity. And at the end of the day, it is a lot of publicity for him. And he's doing it pro bono. Even the fact that his parents had life insurance for him. Tyler Perry just want to get his name in the news by paying for the funeral, because here's the thing. Hey, man, I know a lot of people who have passed away, and no disrespect to Nolan Wells, but hey, Tyler, can you put out a $50,000 reward to find out who did some things to my daughter's uncle some years ago, because they still ain't found it. It's a lot of us that got people that we've lost, unsolved murders, man. Tyler Perry, why don't you put some money out for our family members? No disrespect to Nolan Wells and the family, but this is not the most important dead body that's going on in the United States of America. This just happened to be the biggest story, but I'm not trying to take a jab at anybody, but you guys get what I'm saying.
Meaning that a drowning victim should definitely show signs of bloating in those conditions. Now, to Trasher's point again, he did say he was flying above when he saw Wells's body, but his admission has caused some to add to the speculation of what really happened. In the comment section of his interview with TMZ, one user would go on to say, "Sounds like he was placed in the water that day," while another would write, "Definitely dumped overnight." Now, those two comments seem to reflect some people's feelings who believe foul play was involved, that Wells was somehow returned back to the island after allegedly being fatally attacked. Before his interview with TMZ would come to an end, Trasher would also go on to admit that he found it interesting that Wells's body would end up right back where he was last seen.
It seems like what happened was he was carried north, which indicates to me that he might have got caught in a rip current, and it carried him north. And then as the tide slacked and the current changed back to a southward heading, it carried him right back to the beach. The only thing that really stood out to me that I was not expecting is that he washed up very, very close to the last spot where he was seen alive.
Now, press and pause with that. Did you hear what he just said? That we're talking about rip currents. See, why are we even still talking about the fact that we think Nolan Wells drowned? Nolan Wells did not drown, people. Guys, y'all think Nolan Wells drowned or didn't drown? Put that in the comments, please. Comment on this. Let's get the comments up on this because this stuff has to stop. Because if Nolan Wells drowned, we shouldn't even be talking about that at this point. Because why? So you mean to tell me he sat at the judge's house where his phone was found at, right? Where they got Life 360 and they can track his phone. His parents been tracking his phone, and he's gonna leave his phone at a judge's house and then go out to the beach and go swimming without his phone? I think not. Guys, I don't even think they need to quit making these videos about him drowning because the man didn't drown.
I wasn't expecting that.
Now, going back to Wells' funeral service on Monday, at the end of it, Wells' parents and team would continue to spearhead their message of getting justice for Nolan, and they would host a press conference to answer questions. Now, it is during this press conference that Representatives Ben Crump will take a moment to call out the slow results they've gotten from the first autopsy in toxicology conducted by the Mississippi State Examiner, conducted on July 7th.
It's always troublesome to all of us when these investigations just take forever. I mean, 6 months to get a toxicology report back, to get an autopsy done.
By the way, see, and this is what I need y'all to stop getting caught up on. Benjamin Crump ain't that smart. It ain't been no 6 months. It's been 2 weeks. It has not been 6 months. See, some of y'all will actually hear this 6 month shit and believe it. This ain't no damn 6 months. It's been 2 weeks. But yes, Benjamin Crump is correct. It does not. It normally takes a couple of days to get your autopsy report back because let's guys think about regular death. When you pass away, if you pass away in the hospital and stuff like that, they don't even give you an autopsy. But under circumstances like this, they give you an autopsy. And it does not take no 2 weeks for an autopsy to come back. See, but that's his fault because what Benjamin Crump should have did was he should have kept the fact that he was going to get, guys, if y'all think that Benjamin Crump should have kept it a secret that he was going to get their own autopsy afterwards, put that in the comments because you got to learn how to move in silence. See, when they got their autopsy, when Mississippi did the autopsy for Nolan Wells, right? That means after that, they released the body to the family. They didn't have to bury Nolan Wells. They could have been waiting for this autopsy result and then went and got their own independent autopsy. Now, it don't match up. Now, they locked into the story. This is why this is a huge ass conspiracy from the judge all the way down to the department and everybody else because they ain't dropped that autopsy report. And on a further note, being that Mississippi does have the results, if they thought that Nolan Wells was deleted, unalive, they should come out in the public and say it. Hey, from these autopsy results, it appears that he has this, that, and third, and we treat this as a homicide. And not one time have I heard this raggedy ass department say that they are treating Nolan Wells' demise as a homicide, which is wrong, guys. Like I said, prior law enforcement, done investigations. You will treat all dead bodies as a homicide until proven otherwise due to chain of custody and evidence and crime scenes, because there are more than one crime scenes. This is what you call a dynamic crime scene. There are many crime scenes, not just where Nolan Wells was found. You got to find a crime scene if he was on a boat. You got to find a crime scene, somebody transported him by car. His phone is a crime scene, which Crump hasn't given to the police. The judge's house is a crime scene. Wherever they found that phone is a crime scene. There are many crime scenes, man. This thing has been handled wrong from the get-go.
If, the longer we let it go, the more people forget, other things happen. It gets swept under the rug. And so that's what's important, to have a timeline. And when you don't have that timeline, you start to say, oh, what Nolan Wells, what happened? I mean, I remember that case, but we got no answers.
Now, looking up, preliminary findings typically can be available within 2 to 3 days. And these findings usually outline initial observations and may provide an early indication of the cause of death. And as far as toxicology reports, they can take 4 to 8 weeks. Now, Crump would also share that they are anticipating to get back the first autopsy results before diving into their independent autopsy, since it could be an even better assessment of Nolan's body, given that the state medical examiner had his body much sooner to the time of his passing. Now, before the press conference would come to an end, Crump would go on to share that his team has even gotten a tip that Nolan was seen on the boat of the girl that he was allegedly last seen talking to. According to Crump, they just want the truth no matter who's to blame.
There are people who are presenting videos, photographs that may show Nolan was on the boat with the person, Katie. We got the full event that I respect so much what my mentor, Reverend Al, said up there.
Man, and Reverend Al Sharpton ain't shit. So for those of y'all that want to know Reverend Al Sharpton thing, Reverend Al Sharpton not only was a drug dealer, and I'm not saying allegedly, but he was a DEA informant. And guys, if y'all want me to post this video and make the video about Reverend Al Sharpton when he got caught trying to buy 10 kilograms of booger sugar from the DEA and turned informant, drop Reverend Al Sharpton in the comments, man. See, man, just because somebody's sitting up next to you and they call themselves Reverend Al, hey, man, he ain't squeaky clean. Reverend Al Sharpton, dirty as hell, man. If y'all want me to make that video and prove to y'all who Reverend Al Sharpton really is, put Reverend Al Sharpton in the comments, man, because I got a video for you, and it goes way back when he was selling that booger sugar, and he made a deal with the DEA, and they got it on surveillance, and later on went to be a confidential informant. So, hey, man, see, a lot of y'all wasn't old enough to know this. See, this is how they get you with the history. But real Reverend Sharpton, man, he ain't shit as far as I'm concerned.
I'm gonna go wherever the truth leads us.
As of now, Wells' parents continues to not have answers of what happened to their son that day.
I've seen the photos of his body on the beach. I couldn't see the face, the neck, the arms, the hands for defensive wounds. I couldn't see if there were bruises to the torso. I couldn't see if the skull was fractured. None of that. I couldn't see if teeth were missing. But it seems to me we would know there had been blunt force trauma, stabbing, shooting, manual or ligature asphyxiation. We would know that. But yet, we know nothing.
And then now 100.
And then again, I'm going to tell you that Nancy Grace is a damn lie because they ain't even released those photos. Where are the photos at, people? So y'all got to be careful, man, whose platform you're looking at. People are saying what they saw and what they didn't see, spinning these narratives, all trying to get some views. But at the end of the day, hey, man, hey, and shout out, hey, guys, and shout out to Hyper Alerts, man. Shout out to them for the content. Shout out to Hype Plus for the content, man. Go visit Hype Plus for some of this good content that I used over here today, man. Hype Plus, man. Shout out to you. Thanks for the content.
$100,000 reward on behalf of Al Sharpton and Tyler Perry has been presented in an attempt to expedite those answers. Let's talk about it more in the comments below. Now that we're hearing from one of the rescuers sharing how Nolan's body appeared from his vantage point, does it add to more speculation, or could Wells' death be an unfortunate drowning that went unnoticed? Reporting live.
Guys, and that's the thing, man. That's the thing. Everybody's trying to spin this narrative. First, it was he went out on the boat and his 4 friends drowned him. Right. And remember, at first they were saying that his 4 friends had his phone on the boat. Lie. Now it comes out that he was actually at a judge's house at a party, which we have pictures of it. Right. We got pictures of it. And that's where Nolan Wells' parents had to go retrieve his phone. So it's obvious where this took place at, the judge's house. And guys, if y'all have not heard the audio of one of Nolan Wells' friends talking about his 3 friends, he names them, his 3 friends that put hands on him, and then he was hit with a metal pole and was coughing up blood. And the judge walked out, and these are Nolan Wells' friends' word. His friend said that she came out drunk. The judge came out drunk and cussing and told everybody get the F out of her house, or she was calling the police. And she told Nolan to stay, and he was leaning over the pool with blood coming out of his mouth. So see, I believe that at some time Nolan Wells expired at that judge's house because that judge did not want to call her friend, somebody she grew up with and went to school with, because you would have had to tell your friend, hey, Nolan's injured really bad over here. And I had a party where I had underage drinking, even though I'm the judge, and I had illegal narcotics going on, and I'm the judge, and your son just happened to get jumped at my party, and I'm the judge, and somebody hit him over the head with a pole, and I'm the judge, and now I'm trying to cover this up. Did you see how that would look? The judge is suspect. Guys, let me be the first one to tell you that the judge is going to the penitentiary on this, but I want to keep y'all too long, man. But like and subscribe to the channel. I will be streaming the Tupac Shakur trial live out here every day in Las Vegas, Nevada. And if you want that stream, put Tupac in the comments, y'all. Let's get 1,000 comments. Like, share, and subscribe this video. Let's move it around and make sure, man, remember to stay blessed. Don't ever get stressed. Make sure you never, ever get finessed and get plenty of rest. And check out this video that's coming up next.